To lose in French related to perishable and also forming part of our F to P shift. We said a fart was a little loss.
Perdre.
Perdre. This is an RE verb, no? P-E-R-D, RE, perdre. So, if we want to say I lose, we're going to remove our RE and put an S.
Je perds.
Je perds. Good. No, we don't have an E on the end there, making us hear the consonants anymore, like in to lose, perdre. I lose, je perds. P-E-R and then D-S, which is silent, je perds. I never lose. I never lose.
Je ne perds jamais.
Je ne perds jamais. Very good. Je ne perds jamais. I never lose anything.
Je ne perds jamais rien.
Je ne perds jamais rien. You lose.
Tu perds.
Tu perds. Everyone was tout le monde, literally all the world. And we know that on time is à temps. Temps is masculine, by the way, le temps. So how might all the time be?
Tout le temps.
Tout le temps or tout le temps. We could also have a contraction there. Tout le temps, tout le temps. You lose them all the time. You lose them all the time.
Tu les perds tout le temps.
Tu les perds tout le temps. Tout le temps. So we've seen how with RE verbs, we remove our ending and add an S for both I, je, and you, tu. For he, she, and it, we don't add an S. We actually have no addition at all. We just remove our RE ending. So how would that sound? He loses, for example.
Il perd. Il perd.
Would you get the D?
Il perd.
Good, the D is still on the end, no? Il perd. So we have P-E-R-D, and we don't hear that D. So it sounds the same as the other forms. Il perd, he loses. Encore means again. Encore.
Encore.
Like an encore, no, in English we say, like when we ask an artist to repeat a song, for example, we call for an encore. We are just calling again in French. Encore. He's losing again.
Il perd encore.
Il perd encore. So everybody was tout le monde, all the world. So everybody is losing again.
Tout le monde perd encore.
Tout le monde perd encore. So we see how we have an important difference between how ER and RE verbs behave in the present. And whilst we have various ways of writing the different versions, we can recap those when reading. If we talk about sound, with ER verbs we simply pronounce the verb without its ending for I, you, he, she, and it. Manger, mange, explorer, explore. And for RE verbs, we lose the ending and also the consonant before it, if there is one. Attendre, attend. Perdre, perd. To sell is vendre, vendre.
Vendre.
Like vending machine, no, that's a selling machine. Or a street vendor, that's a street seller. Vendre.
Vendre.
V-E-N-D-R-E. I sell.
Je vends.
Je vends.
Je vends.
You sell.
Tu vends.
Tu vends. He sells.
Il vend.
She sells.
Elle vend.
Elle vend. So all of those versions, no, we have vendre without the RE ending and also without the consonant before, as far as sound is concerned, which is unlike the ER verbs. No, for our ER verbs, we just lose our ER ending. But this difference between how ER and RE verbs behave is only for the I, you, and he, she, it versions of the verb, or in other words, the singular ones. The other versions, the plural ones, behave the same way for both ER and RE verbs. So, for example, what did we do for they for ER verbs? What did we add for they?
ENT.
ENT, no, which was silent on the end of verbs. So, for both ER and RE verbs, we will use ENT for they. For plural people like they, these two verb types will behave the same. So, we saw to buy. Do you remember how was to buy?
acheter,
Acheter, acheter. And this verb changed a little bit when we started to play with it now. For example, we have j'achète, the E of acheter, which can completely disappear in the two form acheter. Now that becomes bigger and stronger. J'achète, I buy. How would they buy be?
il achète, il s'achète,
Ils achètent. Good. They buy, ils achètent, or elles achètent if we mean just females. And to sell again.
vendre,
And they sell.
ils vendent, ils vendent,
Ils vendent. Good. So for they, ER verbs and RE verbs are doing the same thing. We hear the verb without its ending. What was to wait?
attendre,
Attendre. I wait.
j'attends,
J'attends. So we have an S there for I, and we don't hear the D either that comes before it. J'attends. You wait.
tu attends,
Tu attends. You never wait.
tu n'attends jamais, jamais, jamais,
Tu n'attends jamais. He is waiting for me.
il m'attend,
Il m'attend. So all of these versions now, these singular versions, j'attends, tu attends, il attend, are doing something different to the ER verbs now. But for they, for the plural person, RE verbs behave just like ER verbs. We add ENT for they. They are waiting for me.
ils m'attendent,
Ils m'attendent. So the ENT is silent now, but it of course makes us hear that D that comes before that ENT. Ils m'attendent. They are waiting for me. But just he is waiting for me.
il m'attend,
Il m'attend. Here we don't hear the last D. Il m'attend. We saw qu'est-ce que, which is one of the ways we can say what. Literally, what is it that? How would you say, what is it that they are waiting for? What is it that they are waiting?
qu'est-ce que ils attendent,
Good, but there's a lot going on here. We also have a contraction between qu'est-ce que and ils. Qu'est-ce qu'ils attendent?
qu'est-ce qu'ils attendent,
And how would you say, what is he waiting for?
qu'est-ce qu'ils attendent,
Very good. Qu'est-ce qu'il attend? No? Very good. We saw that the word for more was plus, and we can combine this with ne to give us a negation meaning any more and any longer. So for example, if you wanted to say she's not waiting anymore, how would that be?
elle n'attend elle n'attend plus,
Elle n'attend plus. And they're not waiting any longer. And with they, we refer to all females.
elles n'attendent plus,
Elles n'attendent plus. They're not waiting for you any longer. Still females. They're not waiting for you any longer.
elles ne t'attendent plus,
Elles ne t'attendent plus. Very good.